'cause I loved you, I swear I loved you to my dying day. Today we are going to learn how to play the song My Tears, Ricochet by Taylor Swift from her 2020 album Folklore. And I'm actually planning to cover quite a few songs from the Folklore album, so if you have any suggestions on songs that you want me to cover, you can comment that below. And since this song isn't a guitar-based song, this is going to be my interpretation of how to play this on guitar. We will have our capo on the 5th fret of the guitar. So we start off by looking at the intro, and the intro and verse have the same chord progression. So we start off with a E minor, and here I add the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string to get that high note, to add a bit of dramatic vibe to the song. And then we play a regular D, and then we play a B minor. So we place our index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, while also touching the low E string a bit with it, so we mute it. And our ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, our pinky on the 4th fret of the G string, and our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then we also play the high E on the 2nd fret using our index finger. So if you have trouble with your bar chords, this is a good opportunity to practice that, since this is a fairly easy bar chord. And then we play a C chord, and here I'd like to add another bass note. So instead of having our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, we put it on the 3rd fret of the low E string instead. And then we replace that position with the pinky finger. So 3rd fret and 3rd fret. And by having this note also, it adds a bit of warmth to the chord when we play high up using a capo. And it's also nice to hit this note because that's the low note that Taylor hits in the verse a couple of times. And the intro consists of 3 rounds of this chord progression. And the first 2 rounds we're just gonna strum once per chord. So the first 2 rounds goes like this. And then we add a bit more strumming. So the strumming pattern that we're going to use is down, 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 up. In the intro and in the verses, I suggest that you strum this quite lightly so that the focus is on the vocals rather than the guitar. So if we add this to the rest of the intro, it goes like this. And for the 2 verses of the song, we're gonna use this exact same chord progression and the same strumming pattern as we did at the end of the intro. So the verses go like this. Moving on to the chorus chords are the following: G, A minor, E minor, and C. On the G, I like to keep the B string open and a regular A minor. If you want, you can actually, when you change to A minor, you can do a hammer-on with the ring finger on the second fret of the G string to add a bit of flavor. And then we have a E minor and our C with the bass notes. And in the choruses we have a similar strumming pattern, but we add one downstroke to the pattern. So the pattern that we're going to use is down, 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 up. And we play this for 4 rounds, and then after the 4th round we play the same chord progression: G, A minor, E minor, and C, but we can go back to the strumming pattern of the verses. So down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And in the choruses we can strum a bit harder than in the verses to add a bit of dynamic to the song. So if I play the first chorus plus the instrumental round, it goes like this. And then for the second verse, we play it exactly as the first verse. So 4 rounds of E minor, D, B minor, and C with a down, 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 up pattern. And the second chorus is played for 4 rounds only, so we skip the instrumental section. Moving on to the bridge of the song. So here we have the same chord progression as in the chorus. We have G, A minor, E minor, and C, played for 4 rounds. And here I'd like to add palm muting. So this means that we take this bit of our right hand and place it just before the bridge of the guitar, so that we get a bit of muting sound. So try to find a good middle ground where it's not completely unmuted and where it's not completely muted. And we're gonna use the same strumming pattern as in the chorus, but here I'd like to focus my picking of the first 2 downstrokes on the bass notes of the chord. So for G, that would be, and then for the rest of the strum we can play the whole chord. So bass, bass, whole chord, open A, open E, and here you can play the same note as on the G chord. And this is played for 4 rounds, and at the last C chord we play it for 2 measures instead of 1 and let it ring out so we don't mute it. So here is the bridge. And then we have the last chorus, which is played for 6 rounds. And for the first 2 rounds, we're only going to play the bass notes of the chords. So for the G, we have our 3rd fret on the low E string. Then we have A, open A, open E, and 3rd fret of the A string for the C chord. And for the second round, you could add another bass note to the chords. So here you could add 2nd fret of the A string for the G, and then open A and 2nd fret of the D string for the A minor chord. And for the E minor, just move down that index finger to the 2nd fret of the A string. And for the C chord, we can place our hand in the regular way and play the bass notes, and then start strumming as usual. So here is the last chorus. And then for the outro, we can just keep playing this chord progression, likely for 2 more rounds. Now I hope that this tutorial has helped you to learn the song, and if you have any questions, you can just leave a comment below.